Good morning, Poet fans. Welcome to WCPoets.com and another edition of our Alumni Feature Friday here, brought to you by the Whittier College Sports Network. I'm Lance Frady, Associate Athletic Director for Communications, and joining me today is Benay Weintraub from the class of 2015. Benay, thanks so much for hopping on with me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yeah, so Benay, it's been a while since I've seen you. Another tennis player here on our Alumni Feature Friday segment. It's always nice catching up. But the first question, how has quarantine been for you? And are you in touch with some of your former teammates?
I think like most people, quarantine has kind of been a blessing because you've been allowed to grow personally. You've been allowed to spend time with your family. So as much as this was a negative in our world, I've tried to flip it into a positive as much as possible, because I'm thankful that I've been able to move back west to be with my family in Las Vegas. I'm thankful that I'm able to play a lot of USTA League, and I'm on 3 teams, which is so much fun to be able to compete again. And I've been working on a lot of personal development for myself. I'm a member of We Coach, which works with female coaches at all levels and all sports. So it's been really fun to network with them. And I'm also a certified tennis coach by the USPTA. So I do a lot of their professional development online. And it's just been fun to get out and kind of explore the outdoors of Las Vegas and get into some hiking. And I have been in touch with a couple of my teammates. I think even with the pandemic and without it, it's important to check in on your people. Thank goodness for social media. I've been in contact with some of my teammates. It was just Alyssa and Nicole Faw's birthday 2 weeks ago, last week. So I was able to catch up with them. And like we were just talking about earlier, Katie Oliger's writing books. And I've been in contact with Mary Rose Vigorita, who I think is in the Bay Area, and she's teaching. It's been a really good time to stay in touch with my teammates.
Okay. Now, how has it been? Again, you're from Tennessee and you're out here on the West Coast now with your parents in Las Vegas. Do you like that change?
I do like the change because I said one of the best things is there's no humidity here. So your hair is not going crazy. You're not sweating bullets out all the time. But I think growing up in the South where there is all that humidity and training there and training in Tennessee and Texas and Florida for all my life, it definitely helped coming to the West Coast because I felt like I kind of had that endurance and I was able to withstand some of those long matches. But I love the West Coast and I think it's been treating me pretty well.
Now, a lot of people say that their tennis game has actually improved after they graduated. Not anymore, no more pressure put on them. You're not in that match play situation. How about for you? Do you think you're still playing at a pretty high level like you were in college?
I do. And I think we work together a lot all the time with fitness and tennis. So I think like probably my sophomore year, I think I peaked. And then I kept continuing to get better and better. And then I took a little bit of a break after college because I was working and traveling. And now that I've gotten back into league, I definitely think that I'm playing like I did then. I've been focusing on the footwork a lot. I've been focusing on my serve placement. Now I'm playing a lot of doubles. So I think playing a lot of doubles in college really helped, and just that court awareness. So yeah, I definitely think I'm pretty good still.
Yeah, okay. Well, coming from Tennessee, you were the top ranked player in the state before coming out here west. Why Whittier College for you?
I have a lot of why Whittier, but I think one of the reasons I picked Whittier was because as soon as I stepped on the campus, it felt like home. And I knew coming west from Tennessee, I knew I could get a direct flight Delta from Memphis to LAX, but it was cost prohibitive. And my parents and I discussed we're not going to come out all the time and you're not going to come home all the time. So it was usually winter break and summers that they would come to see. Either in the spring, they'd come to Ojai, they would come see us once and they traveled for spring break. So I think walking on campus and knowing that felt like home was really important to me. Another thing was just the credibility of the professors and the level of education they have and all the experience. Kathy Barlow and I had a great relationship, both being from the South. We'd always talk about the culture and the cuisine and all that. So that made me feel at home. And then kind of from the perspective, when I was already at Whittier, I remember I was taking biomechanics with Ann Hickey and the big project, and we had to use dartfish, and it was only in CAS. and it wasn't working for me. And I remember I was studying my tennis forehand, and I'm like, Dr. Hickey, this is just not happening. And she's like, okay, well, let me try. And she took it home and she figured it out, like what the deal was. And that the fact that a professor was able to go above and beyond for not just a student athlete, but she would do that for anybody, is a great reason of why I chose Whittier. I felt like you and the rest of the other athletic department that I met on my recruiting visit, they really cared about my mental, my physical, and my spiritual health. And also study abroad. I got to study abroad my junior year to Australia during Jan term, which was great. And I felt like my professors took an interest in tennis. I was like, how did it go? Good luck. And you know me, I was always proactive. So I was always sending my assignments in early to remind them, hey, I'm not going to be there because I have tennis. And they would always wish me good luck. And then also, I think I was thinking about it, one of the biggest reasons at the time when I was looking was President Hertzberger and her husband, David, and how big fans they were of Poet Athletics. And they were always there. And I remember meeting her at orientation. And for all 4 years, she remembered my name. She remembered my parents' name. She knew where I was from. And I think the current president, Linda Oubre, is probably doing the same thing. I know she interacts a lot on social media with the athletics. So I think the fact that you're at a small private liberal arts college where your president cares about the student athletes and how they're doing is a big reason of why I chose Whittier.
Now, how was it being a student athlete at a smaller school?
I thought it was great. I'll use the cliche, I was a name, not a number. Like I said, every professor took an interest. They knew I was not there for just school. They knew I was there for tennis and among other things. So they really took an interest in making sure that I was getting the resources that I needed in order to excel.
Now, you graduated back in 2015. Take me through what you have been doing. I know from Whittier, you've gone across the country, and now you're back. You've done everything from coaching to compliance, admin. Take me through what you've been up to.
Right. So I have coached at the Division II and Division III levels at all top schools. I've been to the Elite Eight, which was pretty fun. And I have been doing a lot of like professional development, like I said. I've been working some of the collegiate exposure camps that are around the country. And I think that's been a pretty rewarding feeling, working with prospective student athletes and helping answer their questions, and also encouraging them to reach out to coaches, to reach out to teams and express interest in playing, because there's a school for everybody. And if you have the grades and you have the talent and you have the personality that fits in with the team, there's a school for you. So those collegiate exposure camps were a lot of fun to work. And like I said, I've been doing a lot of WE Coach and USPTA work. And then when I was at the Division III and Division II institutions, I was doing compliance. I was the SAC advisor, and I was doing leadership committees because I was a SAC member at Whittier. It's been such a fun organization. So every school I've gone to, I've made sure that I could stay a part of it.
Now, over your 4 years when you were here, 4-year letter winner, the team posted some impressive records. You were 10-10, 4-6 in conference play in 2012, 13-8-1, 6-5 in SCIAC in 2013. And then in 2014, you were 10-12, 4-7 in conference play. What do you credit the success to with this program?
My top things that I would say that I would credit the success to was that our teams were always composed of great people. We cared about each other, we cared about the team, and we all had the same vision. So majority of the time, we were always on the same page. We knew what we wanted to do and how we were going to do it. We really believed in each other. We believed in each other academically, on the tennis court, and in life. And I think just the belief, knowing you have someone that believes in you is really helpful. We supported each other off the court. I know we would go to each other's presentations and something like that to show support. And also we just put in the work. There's the 6 a.m. practices. We had the strength and conditioning. We would do team bonding. We just put in all the work we thought necessary to order to be successful, and I think it paid off.
Now, like we talked about, you've done coaching, you've done compliance, you've done everything regarding the leadership, the coaching. You majored in kinesiology. Did you always want to go into admin coaching after graduation, or did you want to go a whole different route?
I always have had a passion for sports, so I knew I wanted to be in that world. But I think being at Whittier really solidified why I wanted to be in coaching. And like I've done, as you know, I did internships with you. I did in the sports information office. I did internships with the SWA and the compliance officer. So having that well-rounded experience really assured me that this is what I want to do for a living.
Okay, well, you're on your way too, which is really nice to see. Now, you were busy at Whittier. You were a member of a number of organizations. You were a women's tennis athlete. You were successful in the classroom. How did you make that happen? How did you balance it all?
That's a good question. It takes a lot of time management. And for me, if I think something or someone is that important to me, I'm going to make the time for it. I actually had to go back and think about everything I did. And I was a SAC member. At the time, President Hertzberger nominated me on the Title IX committee. I worked the prospect camps when we had the recruits come on campus. I did the sports information internship with you, the SWA and compliance internship, and I studied abroad. There's probably a couple of other things because, I was really involved. Yeah. But like I said, I made the time and I stayed proactive because all of those things I did were really important to me. Or now looking back are important. It's because that's shaped who I am professionally and in my career. And I've always stayed curious. I've always wanted to learn. So that's why I did all those little internships and work study positions because I always wanted to learn. And I always needed to get outside my comfort zone. And I think having these different positions with different supervisors provided me to get out of my comfort zone, really learn to work with different types of people, work under pressure. And then also it just helped me build my network. And I'm still in contacts like with you and some of my other K&S professors.
Mm-hmm. Now, the last question I have for you, are there any words of advice for athletes who are still attending Whittier College and who want to get more involved on campus? And then also any tips and also some more words of advice for recruits who are looking at Whittier and have not made their final decisions yet?
I'd say for the current student athletes, one of the best things I did at Whittier was I took the INTD 299 class. And I did look it up. I still see it's in the course catalog. And that was through the Career Center. And it basically was internships for credits. I think it was, you could get 1 to 3 credits. So every summer I always had an internship. And I would always apply that credit to sometime in the spring because it was kind of like one less class I would have to physically be in during tennis season. But those internships, now graduating and coming out with all those internships on your resume, it looks pretty good. I think so. At least that's what I've been told. So definitely for the current student athletes, look into INTD 299. The second thing was take the public speaking class. I think Whittier still has that. I think it was through the English or the theater department, but that was also one of the best classes was public speaking. And they put you through different ways of public speaking, like if you're speaking to a crowd, if you're reading a book to a crowd, not looking at a presentation the entire time. So public speaking was another great thing. Get to know the students, the faculty, the staff, get to know everybody from all disciplines. Don't just lock yourself to your major and whoever is in the GAC. Like get out there and meet everybody. And I think that was beneficial to me being at a small school like Whittier with 1,800 students, that you can meet just all these people from all over the world. And that was just a great experience for me. So I'd encourage that. And most importantly, just have fun. I mean, you're there to learn, you're there to grind, you're there to win, you're there to excel in everything that you do, but you have to have fun doing it. And for the future, poets, I would definitely say make a list of what's important to you when you're going on recruiting visits so you can see how those things align. And when you're there, talk to anybody who's involved with the program. If you're with tennis, lacrosse, basketball, there's faculty liaisons. If you're interested in biology or K&S or English or photography, talk to those professors, get a feel so you have a really well-rounded experience while you're there and you can leave knowing everything you needed to know. And most importantly, specifically to athletics, when you're speaking to coaches and players, just be yourself. Stay authentic as much as possible. and just stay proactive. I know from a coaching standpoint, I love to hear from recruits all the time. Just even if you're just checking in, hey, how are you? Guess what? I just got a 98 on my test, or I'm playing in this tournament this weekend. I'll update you. Whatever it is, stay authentic and stay in contact with the players and with the coaches.
Perfect. Some great insight, Benay, and I really appreciate that. But that's all the time I have with you for today. Thank you so much for hopping on with me for our Alumni Feature Friday segment. Make sure you continue to stay safe up there in Las Vegas. Tell your parents hi for me. Definitely miss you here at Whittier and seeing them. And hopefully we'll be able to see you at an alumni match, and hopefully we'll be able to have one here this next spring.
I love that. Sounds good. Fear the poet, everybody.